Hey everyone, and welcome to another GTA Online video here on the channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about the next-gen version of the game and a potential change that could happen with the switch to next-gen. At this point, we're about a year out until the next-gen versions officially release. Could be more, could be less. But the change that we are going to be discussing has to do with the aim preferences. Ever since the beginning of GTA 5, we've had 4 aim preferences: assisted aim full, assisted aim partial, free aim, and free aim assisted, with assisted aim preferences being put in their own lobbies and free aim preferences being put in their own lobbies. And if you guys do play free aim, you would know that this system is heavily flawed. Free aim assisted is just a busted mechanic. If you guys don't know what free aim assisted does, it basically locks onto a target for a split second before you lose it. But what you can do is constantly spam the left trigger to keep locking onto that target. And since this aim preference is grouped together with regular free aim, which has no lock on whatsoever, you can see why people are upset with this. Free aim lobbies should be completely free aim with no lock on at all. Now, the easy way out of this situation would be to adjust the free aim assisted mechanic so that it only locks onto NPCs and not other players. But personally, I feel like the aiming system, among many other things, just needs a complete overhaul. The aiming system was designed probably like in 2011 when the game was being developed for the Xbox 360 and PS3. It's now 2020, with the expanded and enhanced versions releasing in 2021, and while we don't know what that exactly means yet, I think it's good to have some discussion about some of the features of the game that need adjusting. So my proposition is a little ambitious, but I feel like they need to scrap assisted aim and lock on altogether. They need to get rid of the cheesy lock on and flick up to the head combat and offer a much more robust free aim style of combat. Now, I know many of you watching this video probably think I'm crazy, but hear me out. The lock-on assisted aim has been in GTA ever since the third installment, which was the first game in the series to not be from a bird's eye view. And the main reason I'm assuming they went with that option is because controller aiming at 30 FPS is just not accurate at all. Pair that with the fact that the games back then didn't have the greatest shooting mechanics or cover mechanics in the world, and it's kind of a no-brainer to have the game just aim for you. But for the expanded and enhanced versions, the game should be running at least 60 FPS across the board, possibly even 120 FPS, and if you've ever played the PC version of GTA, aiming feels so much better. Now obviously, aiming with a mouse has to do with some of that, but it's just the fact that the higher the FPS, the easier it is to aim because the game is going to be much more responsive to your inputs. Although we would be getting rid of assisted aim, as it's called in GTA, the free aim would also be getting a major overhaul, and that would include getting aim assist added. Now, I know I mentioned aim assist and assisted aim, so if that doesn't make any sense, let me explain. When I say aim assist, I don't mean the lock-on that GTA does now. I'm talking about how the reticle will slow down when you aim over a target. This has been a feature in shooter games probably ever since there were shooter games, and it's intended to help out with the controller aim. You've probably seen the arguments about aim assist being overpowered in certain games that have crossplay with PC players who have no aim assist because they aim with a mouse, which is much easier. And aim assist is also the main reason why quickscoping in Call of Duty, for example, is so easy. In GTA's case, it probably has the worst system possible. In free aim, there is no aim assist at all, and the player movement speed is crazy fast. And because of these two things, you get sniper dancing, which is one of the goofiest things that I've ever seen in a video game. If you look at a more recent Rockstar title, Red Dead Redemption 2, you'll see that it does have auto-aim preferences that you can set to narrow or wide, and that affects how close you have to be aiming at the target to lock onto them. But it also has an aim assist slider, which doesn't affect the lock-on, it affects how your crosshair slows down when aiming over a target. Something like this definitely needs to be added to the next-gen versions of the game. And I think the reason they still went with having auto-aim is because we're aiming bolt-action rifles and repeaters, and not automatic weapons, and also the 30 FPS as well. Sniper dancing also exists in Red Dead Online, however there was a time where snipers were very undertuned in terms of damage, and more important to the topic of this video, they didn't have aim assist. Now, in a later patch, Rockstar buffed the snipers by giving them some aim assist, which made sniper dancing much less annoying to deal with. Now, in my personal opinion, I think they gave them a bit too much aim assist, but you have to remember these consoles are playing the game at 30 FPS or less in some circumstances, with characters that can shuffle back and forth faster than an NFL running back while aiming down the scope of a heavy sniper rifle, so they needed some sort of aim assist on them. Another reason that I think getting rid of lock-on aim is essential is to have crossplay in mind. If Rockstar and Take-Two ever want to incorporate crossplay into their game with an option to turn it on or off, with the traditional style of aiming that we have now, they would have to have lobbies dedicated to each certain system, and then they'd have to go a step further and separate those lobbies in terms of what aiming preferences they have. Just to give an example, let's say I'm on the Xbox Series X and I turn my crossplay off, and then I decided that I want to play in an auto-aim lobby. Well then, the game is going to first matchmake me into a server that is not crossplay, and then out of those servers that aren't crossplay, it has to again matchmake me into an auto-aim lobby of that same type. It's just way too many variations of different server types you'd have to have. Whereas in my proposition, with just having the free aim with the extra aim assist, the only split of the lobbies would be if you're in crossplay or not. There would only have to be crossplay lobbies and then non-crossplay lobbies. To help visualize this a bit better, I put together a little picture demonstrating how the matchmaking service would have to decide what lobby to put you in. So you can see with the traditional aiming system, if they were to add crossplay with dedicated servers, the game would first check if crossplay is enabled, and if it is, then it would check your aim preference before finally putting you into a crossplay lobby in either free aim or auto aim. On the other hand, if you turn crossplay off, then it would check your aim preference and then put you in a lobby with the system you're currently playing with that desired aim preference. Notice how there are 8 different variations of free mode servers that there would have to be in order for the current system to work how it does. That means it's effectively splitting the total GTA Online player base into 8 different parts. Moving on to the other picture detailing what the matchmaking would sort of look like with only having one aiming system, the game would only check if crossplay is enabled and then put you into a crossplay server if it is, or a regular old server on your console. And this would only split up the total players 4 times instead of the 8 that the other one does. When it comes to matchmaking in games, ideally you want to split up the players as little as possible because that's going to decrease the time it takes to find a lobby. Each time you split the player base, you end up with a smaller subsection of players, and the smaller the subsection of players, the longer it's going to take to matchmake. And I didn't even talk about locations too, that's also another big thing when it comes to matchmaking. And if you're matchmaking in that small subsection of players, and the game just cannot find anyone close to you because it's a smaller pool, then it's going to have to extend into a longer distance one, which could cause some issues with lag. I know that was really in-depth what I just went over, but it's quite interesting how something so simple as just having aim preferences can have a big impact on how the game works behind the scenes. And obviously, this probably isn't going to happen, but this is just looking at how things could work in the future with this game. Because peer-to-peer connections are not going to last forever, it's going to have to evolve eventually. And if they ever did want to add crossplay, the whole objective of adding crossplay to video games in general is so that everyone from every console can play together and you have that total pool of players together. And I feel like having aim preferences after that is kind of counterintuitive, don't you think? But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed or learned something new, feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more guide and PvP related content. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Do you feel that the aiming system needs an overhaul? Let me know. Huge thank you to my channel sponsors for your supports. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.